Welcome back, softies, for another episode of the Soft Knocks podcast.
Welcome to the fucking show.
God, the Steelers are bad.
They are. Everything I read about the game and everything I looked in about the game, they're like, neither these guys both have good defenses. These offenses haven't scored points in the last 3 weeks. And you should just know that when it's all pointed to one thing, I guess I should just know that the script writers are going to do something else.
I know, it just seemed too obvious. I don't know. I hate Najee Harris. I did put $1 on them to come back and win when they were down.
Nice, nice.
It was like to pay $8. How about Iowa State ass raping Iowa? That was
haven't watched it yet.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. I saw some of the updates on Twitter.
Okay.
I knew that they were winning.
Well, I didn't. I want Fran gone.
You just want Iowa to just get rid of all of their coaching staff. Football, basketball.
Yes. I don't mind Kirk. I know he gets a bad rap, but he obviously can coach. He puts guys in the pros, but they do need obviously they're getting a new coordinator, but
I don't know. I was thinking about this. Like, what is their job? Like, what is Kirk's job, really, right? His job is to win football games. It's to turn those players into professional football players. And as much as I hate to say it, he does a pretty good job.
I think he's a good head coach. I really do. He's a little conservative at times, but it is Iowa. He's not getting Alabama, so you can't really open it up that much.
He just won 10 games, and they had more punt yards than they had offensive yards.
That's what I mean. The defense and special teams, but that offense was embarrassing. That was humiliating.
Yes,
I kind of felt
10 wins.
Mm-hmm.
What I wouldn't give for Iowa State to have a 10-win season.
Yeah.
We should certainly have Anthony on. We'd have to come up with a topic that would interest him. And give him enough of a leeway. Boxing would probably be a good one because he knows quite a bit about the boxing world. I don't know anything about the boxing world.
Mike Tyson's pretty interesting, though. Most of it's not even about boxing. I mean, what was that? Teddy Atlas? Is that his name? One of the trainers put a gun to his head after Tyson made a pass at his niece. At Atlas. he put a gun at his head. So you ever talk to her again and I'll blow it off or something like that?
Well, good on him.
Yeah. I mean, he was kind of an animal. You had to treat him like one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still wouldn't really trust him. He's kind of scary still, even though
no. There's very few people I trust. It's sure shit isn't Mike Tyson.
You just say one thing wrong and he punches you and you're gone. You're done.
Yeah, but I think there's probably quite a few people that could take me out with a punch.
Not like that. No. Oh my God. Oh,
good Lord.
Yeah, he's scary, but very interesting dude. Zeke's having a game, man.
Yeah, he is. I can't believe I had him on my roster and I was like,
well, he wasn't getting this with Stevenson.
No, but it's just any time that an injury brings up a running back that you were already had on your roster.
You mean like when I traded Zach Moss?
Yeah, that's one. Or when I paid up for Achane, I know everybody says this, but that Sunday before he had that breakout game, I was contemplating adding him because I had read a few things on how good he was. And, everybody's what is Mostert, when has he ever played a full season?
Yeah, he's always hurt.
They're like, he's one injury away from this guy being a star. And it's no, wait.
Yeah, I'm sick about some of the things. I mean, if I had Taylor, I'd be fine, but that really hurt.
Does Elliott, the way he's playing, especially right now with Stevenson out, do you wish that Dallas still had him?
After seeing Pollard do the whole load, I can't think of another way to put it, but yeah, I think the problem is they were using Zeke too much. I think he's more of a 10 to 12 carry guy, and Pollard maybe 15, 7.
Yeah, I think we're going to have very few true bell cow running backs going forward.
There's just not many.
There's just too much. It's just too much wear and tear on these guys.
Yeah, there's only a few right now, and I traded them. Williams and McCaffrey, and I have Kamara. He's actually a better receiver.
Kamara has been
He has, but it's mainly on like dump off passes. I mean,
yeah,
I'll take it, but like his stats are usually like 14 carries for 50 yards and 7 catches for another 50.
You know what you should do is that whatever happens at the end of the season, whether you make the playoffs, whether you miss the playoffs, whether you win the whole thing, whether you get 4th place, whatever it is, you should go back and look at, like, had you not made
I've already
flurry
done
of
that.
trades and go, if I still had Kyron, I still had Pittman, whatever it is, and I just like used Jordan Love as my quarterback.
Yeah, honestly, that's the one I'm regretting the most is Pittman, just because he was consistent.
He's done.
He's great. Well, he did that with me too. I just felt I needed a quarterback, and
yeah, you do have to have one of those.
Like the Fields trade comes in handy this week. I need him.
Yeah,
I don't because Lawrence is probably gimpy or out.
I'm starting Jordan Love.
Yeah, he's been hot.
More than anything,
honestly, I don't like Taylor getting hurt. I didn't see that.
Well, you can't see it coming. It's an injury.
Like if he was healthy, I'd be perfectly fine with that trade. He's a stud.
I don't know.
The Kyron Williams one, I'm regretting a little.
I don't know that I'll ever. But if I'll ever take a quarterback in those first, I took Fields in round 4.
Yeah, I don't think.
The fact that I am like, I traded him away and I'm fine with Kyler Murray and
Jordan Love,
Jordan Love. And honestly, Fields hasn't done shit for me this year.
No.
He was on my bench for the games he did well in.
Yeah.
Because I had Richardson. And then when I start him, like he's getting like 5 to 10 points.
I know.
Oh, man.
He does get Detroit this week, so I'm hopeful.
Oh, that always start whoever plays Detroit, start their quarterback.
Their defense is really bad. Ash says, who do you guys want me to drop? In a text to me and David only. Let's cut this. He won't do it.
I don't have any play money dollars, so
I said, please drop Kyron Williams.
Who's got money in the league right now?
I got about somebody has $99. I think it's John or something.
It's him. It might be Craig.
And Craig, like he needs an action. Yeah, don't do that.
Don't drop anybody. Oh. We'll see where the budget info is. Asher has $99.
Well, he don't need it now.
John's got 71. He should drop him and then just blow his money picking him back up. Craig's got 76. So he's got the second highest. So yeah, no, I don't. Look at how many people have 0. Me, Dave, George, your dad, my dad, all have 0. Anthony's still got $23.
Yeah, I'm trying to save some if I make the playoffs for defense or something that I like if I need.
No, I've already lined up the defenses for the playoffs.
I mean, I have an idea of who I'm going to jinx. I'm not even in. So
it is. I looked at it
I did see if I lose, I would need one of David or Cody to lose.
Yeah. And
I'd still be in, I think. Because I have the points.
Yes. Yep.
But if they both win, I'm done. So I don't know. Cody's playing Craig though. He's got a team, man. And now that Nico Collins is the clear-cut number 1.
I know.
He's got Hawkins. He has to choose between Collins, Hawkinson, and some other stud on his bench.
We're all playing for second place.
I mean, it's a loaded lineup unless Tyree gets hurt or something. Even then, he can fill him in.
Wait till you tell him that, first-time players don't get to win any money.
Yeah, it's just to see if you're accepted in the league.
And I'm like sick about the big money league right now because like I was playing Anthony, so I just needed like I think if I would have won last week, I'd probably lock up a playoff spot. But I lose to Anthony.
No, you look pretty good though.
And he's 3-9, and he beats me. And then this week I'm playing somebody who's already eliminated, and the man's making moves. Like
he's trying.
Yeah, and it's like God, go away.
I'm pretty much out of that one just because it was that damn Monday night game when DJ Moore beat me by like a half a point.
Oh.
If I'd won that one, I'd pretty much win it in. But I need a lot of help in that. It ain't gonna happen. Give it to Warren, you prick. Short.
Fuck this game.
Yeah, it's bad teams.
This is gonna go to fucking overtime, isn't it? Too?
I hope. Dude, what is this offense?
It's terrible.
They look like Iowa in those uniforms too.
Yeah, I mean, I heard they're going to have Brian Ferentz calling plays.
Wouldn't surprise me. Brian Ferentz is a prick. Glad he's gone.
He'll land on his feet somewhere as an offensive line coach,
sure.
doing what he should be doing.
He doesn't even need to. Just he's a millionaire. Let's just. Yeah. But no, he might. I could see him in a pro as an all lineman. So probably the Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah. Look
at this piece of shit.
I never understand these guys that just keep going and going and going. It's like, what are you doing?
Belichick.
Yeah, I mean, just retire. Is the stress really worth it?
And Ferentz, for that matter, yeah.
Like, yeah, go spend time with your grandkids.
Yeah.
Like Ferentz, like, you're not going to win a national title. You've done everything you're going to do at Iowa.
Yeah. I think he's holding on for that win total that gets him in the Hall of Fame, and he's getting closer, but
maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him moving on, even though I like him.
I mean, he's like, I don't know that Iowa's going to get anything better right now.
No, probably.
They get something different. Which might be fun, right?
Yeah.
I think that they're going to have to do something different, at some point. Yeah. When the Big Ten goes away from the East and the West, and you've got, what are they going to have? 16 schools?
Yeah.
And year, Iowa's going to be middle of that pack.
Maybe.
It'll be interesting to see how they do the schedules. Do you know?
They got USC next year, I think.
Have they talked about how they're going to do the schedules? Like how they're going to? Is it just going to be like a random draw, or?
I think it's a random. They released the schedule next year already. There's a couple. I think they go out to USC, and
we should go see an away game them at USC.
I will say those teams might have trouble with Big Ten defense.
They might.
I do. Now I don't think Iowa's offense is good. But I saw Cooper DeJean said, like, who says I'm leaving? Like, why wouldn't you leave? Go get your $20 million. I just don't get that. And Marvin Harrison said that too. You're going to be the number 2 pick or 3 pick.
The only reason a guy like him would entertain it. One, I heard that he's being offered NIL deals that rivals the rookie deal.
But still, like, would you want to be in the league and maybe I don't
know.
No,
the league's still the way to go because it is more than 1 year.
Yeah.
This NIL stuff is 1 year, and if you don't get it all up front, like how are you? Like if it's if you get injured or something, you're not getting any more of it.
You're not going to get. Maybe he doesn't want to go to the Bears.
That would be the other side of it, right? Is that he looks at the top of that list and he's like, man, do I want to go play for the Bears or Carolina right now? Yeah. Do I want to be catching passes from those guys? I don't know. The problem is that you don't know what the next year is going to bring. You make that decision to stay in the league, and then you blow out an ACL in college,
mm-hmm.
and you don't You don't have the support that you would in the NFL, and you wouldn't have the contract.
No.
You know, and so I think I think it'd be insane to not go out.
I think he will leave. I would think
What do you think about Florida State getting left out?
I'm kind of happy about it just because I want to see a better game, but I can see where they're bad.
Did you see where the playoff committee, like there were some comments made that they debated a lot about it, but they just didn't think that Florida State could win the national title, and that's why they got left out?
Yes. Well, I think it's pretty much because that kid got hurt.
Yeah, but I think
that Travis.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you tell a Power 5 conference champion.
No, I don't. It's probably not right.
13-0 that they don't even deserve a chance.
So who would have been left out? Bama or Texas?
No, because it was the 1 and 2 was Washington and Michigan, and Michigan is playing Bama. So it would have been Bama.
Yeah. I think they just wanted Bama.
Although I think that they wanted the opportunity for it to be Texas Bama in the championship, and so I think they purposely flipped it so that Michigan would play Alabama, then you get a really good game there, and then the winner of that gets to play either Texas or
I did
Washington.
see Herb Street reading like the bylaws, and he's like, it does say if there's a major injury, they have the right to, but like, come on. I don't know.
I think it's stupid. I think it's fucking stupid. What are you supposed to tell these teams that they play all year long? They play all those games.
Yeah, never
lost. That coach brought up a good point. He said like we had non-conference games against Power 5 schools. We won. Like we did everything that we were supposed to do. Like what else were we supposed to do?
Yeah.
You're supposed to tell these kids if someone gets injured that you just give up. There's no point in playing anymore.
Exactly.
I think it's nuts. I saw something on Twitter. It was like, all right, Washington and Michigan get a bye, emergency expansion. 14, then you get Texas, Alabama, Florida State, and God, I can't remember the other school. Georgia.
Georgia, yeah.
And so then it's like they fight it out for the last two. I think that would have been fantastic. Who would have said no?
The NCAA, because they hate us.
No, I mean, fuck that, man.
Next year it won't even be an issue with the 12 or whatever.
It's like, who's going to say no? Like, what? Oh, you couldn't sell the rights to those two games and bring in a crap load of money?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, Florida State probably get beat, but they deserve the right.
I don't think that's yes, we want to see the best games possible, but no one can say that for sure.
No.
And like Georgia has some legitimate beef here too.
Yeah.
Georgia's been the number one team in the country for 2 years.
Yeah. They lose one game.
In a conference championship, and they're out. Mm-hmm. Texas looks good, but
I don't think
the Big 12. I'm a Big 12 guy. I love Iowa State. I like to root for the Big 12, but let's be realistic here. The Big 12 has not been the best conference in football this year.
I kind of think they're the weak link of the four.
Yeah. I don't know that. Okay, they beat Alabama earlier in the year, but so what? That was when Bama was not.
Bama almost lost the next week to some small school too. I mean, they just weren't the same team.
I think that Texas should have been out. I think Florida State should have been in, and the whole Bama Georgia thing, whatever. But
with that said, who do you got winning it all? I kind of have Bama.
I wouldn't. I think I wouldn't be surprised at all if Alabama.
I know Michigan doesn't impress me that much. I don't know.
I think it'll be.
I mean, if Iowa had a competent quarterback, they were keeping that close.
Michigan wore them down. And you said this on the last podcast.
That's what I felt was going to happen.
That their defense just gets tired from being on the field.
That defense is good. I mean, they held them pretty good.
I don't think Michigan's going to have that same luxury.
No, that's what I mean. They're going to have to.
So I think it'll be a good. I think we're in for some good football.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me to see Alabama win it.
Would not surprise me at all. That's kind of who I would.
I think Michigan has looked really good, so it's hard for me to say they're not going to win it.
They're defensive, but man, I don't know. They got a good running game, I guess.
I hope Washington wins it all.
Yeah, that's kind of who I'd like.
I'm rooting for Washington.
Michael Penix.
Yeah, man. The Alabamas of the world, they get enough run.
I know. I like some new blood.
So you seen any of the latest golf news? You probably don't pay too much attention to the golf.
I saw the ROM thing. I didn't.
The ROM stuff is interesting because, all right. So all of this live stuff kind of came to a head earlier in the summer when the PGA and live sort of announced this pseudo agreement to. I don't know. Everybody called it a merger. It wasn't a merger. It was really like, we're going to create this new company who's going to own golf.
Zeke ended it.
And, basically make golf sort of like a, because right now, so golf is like a PGA. It's like a, I don't even know the term, but it's not public. Like you can't invest in it, right? And it has some tax advantage status, and so they can't really go that route like a public company. And so this weird new agreement was some way to sort of, I think, skirt that a little bit, and but it was also a way to get money from the Saudis, and it would allow the PGA to sort of expand on some of the high dollar tournaments and things like that, and sort of compete in that manner. But they came out with this agreement just out of the blue, and it's sort of kind of.
I remember how shocking it was to everyone.
Like even the players that everybody assumed was in the know, like Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy and those guys. I don't think they really knew, not until right before it was announced. And so part of that sort of deal was that by the end of the year, they were supposed, because they didn't even have the deal done. They just basically were like on a handshake agreement, like we're going to do this thing. We're going to come together. We're going to stop picking off your PGA players and taking them to live. And then, the deal was they were going to try and get an actual framework of a deal done by the end of the year. So here we are. It's December, and nothing has really come about other than, I think like the DOJ kind of stepped in and said, I don't know that we're going to allow you to do this. For one, we're not just going to let, the Saudis come in and buy a major American sport. But the latest there is that there was rumors for like the last week or two that John Rahm, who arguably is one of the top, I don't know, 5 biggest names in golf. He's certainly one of the top 5 golfers in the world. I don't know what his world ranking is, but I bet he's 5 or 10.
Yeah,
and so there's these rumors that he's going to go to live, and over the summer, he made it pretty clear when he said that, there's like no circumstance he was going to go to live. He even said in those quotes, like, what are they going to give me? Like $400 million? Like I talked to my wife, and, it wouldn't materially change our life, but
then he got offered.
Yeah. Which is kind of a crazy thing to say, right?
Yeah.
Like $400 million.
Would you leave?
There is almost nothing in this world I wouldn't do for $400 million.
You'd give it the massage parlor hand job?
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's easy.
Yes.
I would do that.
$400 million. It's almost $1 billion.
Yeah, I would be gone in a second. I'm sorry. I mean, no, I didn't.
Right? No one faults anybody for that stuff. But he said, no, it wouldn't really change our lives. Like I'm really in it for the golf, the history and all that stuff, right? Fast forward to now, the deal is rumored to be at, like, for 2 weeks, they're talking about like $600 million. And like he's part of the deal is like he's supposed to be like, he wants to change the format. He had problems with the format. He's like, a 3-day no cut event, it really isn't golf and all that stuff. So nothing's been said about that. But yeah, like there was, for like 2 weeks there was rumors and nothing. And then finally today it's official. And I think the deal, they don't know for sure what it is yet, but it's between 500 and 600 million. I think so Liv does its team golf.
Yeah.
And the teams they all have value. They all have sponsors, and it's like you kind of think of it like a F1 team, right? It's a money making endeavor, and he's getting his own team, which means he's going to get like a stake in the equity of that, and that's probably part of the 600 million. But it's just a crazy, crazy number.
Yeah,
and
I can get why people do it. I don't really like it, but
yeah, I mean, no, you can't fault anybody for that. No. It'd be stupid. But here's the crazy thing, right? If the deal gets done, still, that there's a chance that this doesn't even stop him from playing PGA Tour events. Because that's part of this agreement they were trying to figure out, how do we get these guys back into the PGA? Like, we don't even know, like, what's the PGA going to look like in a couple years? Like, if this deal gets done, does he end up just getting a bag right now, and then it doesn't even change his PGA life, right? Like, he may just be, maybe he's out of the PGA for a year, and he goes over and he plays this live team stuff, and then he's allowed to come back and pick and choose which PGA events he wants to play. Like, he's going to be allowed to play the majors.
That's really all he needs, right? Yeah.
And so it's kind of crazy that they're still.
Isn't that kind of what Koepka does right now?
Yeah,
pretty much.
He won the PGA. He won the PGA last year.
He just plays like a few of the main ones.
It's crazy to think about that. Rahm may have he may have forced the PGA's hand, right? Out of the people that could have potentially gone, Rahm is probably one of the worst possible scenarios for the PGA. So now, do they lose some leverage? And do they, are they more inclined to figure out a way to make this deal happen? And I don't know. Like, I'm interested to see what happens. What are the dominoes that fall? Like, what happens at the end of the year? I hope they get something done. And it may just end up that Rahm, that 600 million, it's not like they don't write him a check. They don't show up with one of those Happy Gilmore.
Are you sure it's just not a big bag?
Big giant check. It's not just a big bag of gold, So the contracts, I mean, he probably got a chunk of it up front, and some of it's probably like an equity position in his team.
Yeah.
And some of it's probably payable in a few years or something. So he may have just like got himself a cash infusion now, and it may end up only being a temporary stay away from the PGA, which would just be crazy. Like, all those other live guys who got paid and left and had to be vilified for a year or more, and now they're talking like, are they going to have to like pay to get back into PGA? Are they going to have to be penalized somehow? Like, Rahm may have just did the best thing ever, which is just hold on to the very end, get a bag.
Why are the Saudis doing this? I don't.
It's a weird deal. So the guy,
I know they have endless money, but
the guy that I can't think of his name, but the guy who runs that whole setup, right? He loves golf. He loves the PGA, and he wants to be a part of it, right? He wants to be in golf, like the main golf thing, right? And this is a foot in the door. There was some thought that Live itself, all of this was just a way to upset the status quo, force their hand in order to let him in to some sort of ownership position within the PGA. And
they're not budging on.
Yeah, you can't really, like, the way the PGA was set up, there was no way for an outsider to come in, and it's player owned. It's not owned by anything other than that, right?
But he's like, look how much money I have.
Yeah.
Can I do this, please?
Well, the way that this whole like agreement was set up was that like essentially this new company gets formed where it is an equity position where like the PGA is going to buy in, the players can buy in, whatever, the Saudis are going to buy in, and then they can pool this money in, and they can use that for prize pools or paying players or whatever they want to use it for. And that's like his way in. So it's one of those things where like they can just spend all this money now to force that to happen.
Yeah.
And never make Live may never make money in the end. Right? Because it's not making money now.
I know.
No one watches it. Like they talked about it being on the CW, but like even then, like it's hard to find on the CW.
The whole thing, I kind of tuned it out because I just don't understand it all. Like all this money for what? Like I mean, like I said, I understand why the guys do it. I would do it.
Yeah.
The people that run it, I don't.
Yeah. Where's the profit?
Is it Greg Norman involved in it or something?
Yeah. He's in it. Like I kind of love the reason why he's in it. It's like pure spite. It's just a big middle finger, fuck you to the PGA.
Kind of like Phil, right now. I mean,
yeah, that's part of his. That's part of his motivation is that like he had a lot of these ideas for the PGA, and they basically told him, "Sorry, Phil, like we're not going to listen to you." But it's a crazy story, and I love golf, and I love paying attention to this shit. Especially during the winter because I can't play golf.
Yeah.
And so like this kind of stuff is just like candy to me.
So Tiger's the one that he wouldn't go ever, would he?
No, the rumor was that they offered Tiger over $900 million.
He's got so much that's hard to turn down.
Tiger has so much money that no additional money really doesn't impact him. Like John Rahm says that, but he didn't have that kind of money. 100. And so, yes, an additional $400-600 million does change his life, does change his family's life. Tiger, an extra, he's got I don't know how much he's worth. I assume it's like $1 billion or more.
Over $1 billion, I
right?
think I saw.
So once you're a billionaire, like another $1 billion doesn't necessarily change anything about your life or your kid's life or their kids' lives.
Yeah.
It is at this point you will have money in perpetuity.
The Tiger net worth $1.1 billion.
Yeah. So them offering him 900 million, which again isn't like just writing a check for 900 million. And like, what does it mean for him? Someone who's already had to rebuild his image. Yeah. Like it didn't make a lot of sense for him. Now, that number had been 3 billion, maybe, but that's only like one of the golf stories going on right now.
Can we get Liv to like be our sponsor?
Oh man, I would love to actually go.
Nobody watches them. Nobody listens to us.
I know. Perfect match. I would actually love to go see a Liv golf tournament. They have a couple in the U.S. I think it seems
a little more rowdy. I think
that's how they bill it. Yeah. I'd like to see if that's actually true. There's a golf tournament out in Phoenix in I think it's like February. The Waste Management Open.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one.
I've been
rowdy.
to it a couple times. Yeah. It is absolutely nuts. So I've been to a few professional golf tournaments. I've been to a couple majors, or I've been to one major, and like they are full of people. They're busy. It's crazy, but nothing compares.
Chug beers on the
At that one, yes.
Yeah.
The Waste Management Open, it is crazy, right? To get into the golf tournament, it's like $30, $40 for a ticket. They don't ever run out of tickets because they just sell them. I mean, like they don't stop selling them. It's not like there's seats necessarily. The scene to go get to that stadium seating is incredible. Those people camp out in the morning and then it's first come, first serve for a lot of those seats. And so when the gates open, they sprint.
Some mad rush.
It is a all-out sprint. Yes. to that spot to get into there in the morning, and they're there all day drinking, $8, $9 beers.
See, that's more my kind of crowd. That'd be fun.
It's just a fun tournament. We were out visiting my dad, and me, him, and one of his buddies who lives in the Phoenix area went one year, and we found a spot that was you could see this par 3, and you could see a couple other holes from right there. But we were sitting there watching this par 3, and you couldn't really tell who the golfers teeing off were because they're far enough away you couldn't really tell. But we were like betting dollars on like who would be closest to the pin, like by the shirt color. Like, all right, I got blue shirt. It was a blast.
Is that where Bruce got scolded for touching the U.S. Open trophy, or was that?
Oh no, that was in St. Louis. That was the PGA,
Or the PGA.
the PGA Championship, and who won that? Brooks might have won that one. I think he did. And we had entrance into some tent because of some credit card I had, and a flex. Not a good one. It's not like when Anthony,
I know Anthony
gets into places. No, this was like I had to wait in line to get in. Like this wasn't someone just like ushering me in and saying, "Yes, sir." No, but we got to take pictures with the Wanamaker trophy, and
Bruce just licked it. Like,
sir, you can't touch that. That was a fun time, man.
Yeah.
We that trip was St. Louis, and we did an Airbnb, but I don't know anything about St. Louis. Like, what's the good spot of St. Louis?
There is none. You get shot there a lot.
And so I get this Airbnb, and we get down there, and man, it's in the hood. It was.
It's kind of.
It was an interesting experience. The house was older, but it was actually really nice.
Yeah,
and it was weird. The parking was in the back, like that. They didn't have like front driveways. You had parking in the back, and
there's a joke there.
Yeah, there is Parker in the rear, and it's just like I just remember thinking like my parents. They drive a used. It's a Mercedes SUV they've had for a number of years. And I just remember thinking like, oh God, we're going to come out here and this thing's going to be on blocks.
I believe it's up there as the murder capital of the world, of the U.S.
Yes. Yep. So
you don't really think about it, but
we didn't have any trouble, but it was.
Well, no, you're very intimidating.
Yeah, right. We brought Clark with us.
Well, there you go.
It was a pet-friendly place.
That's why nobody fucked with you.
And so we did have. It was nice. It had like a fenced-in yard in the back, so we could like let Clark out and run around. And no
neighbors yell at you to make him quit barking.
No. They're more concerned with other things. But that was a fun trip. We were there for the Saturday and Sunday of that golf tournament. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But watching golf like in person and trying to like follow people is a mistake.
Well, I do that on a way lesser scale than the Des Moines Open.
The one at the Principal Charity Classic.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, but it is hard to follow.
It's fun. Like you can walk around for a little bit, but it's much more fun to sit in one spot. Yeah, we tried to on that Saturday, like walk around and watch, follow groups. Sunday, we got there and we went to we just picked out a green on a hole. And we went there and we sat by the green, and we had to wait for people to get to us because we picked. It was like the 13th hole or something, And so people had to play their way to us. But guess what? Then we got to see every group come through on Sunday, and we had like front row seats to a green. It was actually a great way to watch it.
That's what we had on the principal. The JD's boss had the what do you call it? The rafters or on the green, on the 18th green.
Like a suite or like Yeah.
That was awesome. The food and the drinks and
that's the way to go. A hospitality tent deal.
Yeah.
That
was nice. So this other golf story that I had not heard.
So
it's kind of making me upset. The golf ball thing.
Oh, it's making you upset?
Like, why? Take that away.
All right. So the other story in golf right now is
not that upset. It's just, I don't get it.
The USGA has come in and said they're going to roll back the golf ball. And I'll try and explain why they want to, and I'll give my thoughts on it. All right. So golf equipment, and this goes for the golf ball, it goes for golf clubs. It is all gotten long, like makes the ball go longer, and it's more forgiving, right? So 20 years ago, a driver was one of the harder clubs to hit in the golf bag. Now it's one of the easiest. They've gotten bigger. The technology has gotten crazy. The amount of money they put into research and development on all of this stuff, everything is dialed. Nowadays, if you don't hit the center of the face on a driver, it doesn't matter. It still goes a long way. Other things like, for one, golfers, they are now athletes. 20 years ago, guys like Brooks Koepka and steroided out Tiger Woods, like that's just not a thing. The distance at like the super elite, like PGA and super elite amateur level has increased a little bit over the last 20, 30 years. In the terms of golf, I mean, it feels like a lot, but like the pros are hitting the ball so far. And the thought is that golf isn't sustainable in that golf courses keep getting bigger to like allow room to have these long hitters hit, right?
Yeah.
And so it becomes a problem to maintain those golf courses, the land they have to buy for these golf courses. Like it's a thing. That's the argument is that they're getting longer and they're only going to get longer. And so if we don't do anything, it just becomes more and more of a problem. The pros keep hitting the ball longer and longer, and the challenge of golf changes. It's no longer about, hitting every club in your bag and trying to shoot the best score. These pros do what they call it like bomb and gouge, which is essentially they hit the driver as far as they can down there.
Like Anthony.
Yeah, just like Anthony. Mm-hmm. And they wherever they end up, they have a better chance of getting to the green, right? So if you're in the rough from 80 yards from the green, you still have a pretty good chance with the wedge to get the ball on the green and have a good score. Now, if you are in the rough from, 150 yards, it's a different story. But so that they came out with, the USGA came out many, many years ago and said, hey, we think this is a problem. We're going to do some studies and all this stuff, right? And so fast forward to within the last year or so, couple years, they're like, okay, we've determined that this is a problem. And they came up with a couple options. One of them was they're going to roll back the golf ball for the pros only. Essentially, you'd have like a pro set, golf balls, and then you'd have stuff for amateurs, which has its own challenges, especially for the companies that make the golf balls. They have to produce 2 different golf balls, one of which they're not going to produce that many because it's just for the pros.
Yeah.
And there's a whole host of other challenges. And everybody's like, no, we don't want to do that. Part of the deal is that, the amateur gets to play the same equipment as the pros and all this stuff. And so the USGA just recently announced that, all right, we're just going to roll back for everybody. And essentially all that means is that they test these golf balls with a robot. And with the setup that they have and the speed that they swing the club and the robot, the ball can only go so far. If it goes further than that, it's non-conforming. It's a legal golf ball. Can't be used in a USGA event. Okay. So what they've changed is they tweaked some of the setup a little bit, but mostly they changed the club head speed from, I think, like 120 to 125. And it can only go 317 yards. And so the club head goes faster, but the distance stays the same, which means that the golf ball companies have to figure out how to make that happen. And I don't know, they got a lot of high-paid engineers to figure this stuff out.
What are the players saying about it?
Well, here's the thing, is that at that club head speed is supposedly going to knock like I don't know, 13, 15 yards off of a drive. So it's not not astronomical. For someone like me and Anthony, right? We hit the ball a ways, but we by no means do we hit the ball like the pros, right?
Well,
for us, it'll be even less. Yes, we should be doing steroids. Yeah. It'll be even less of an impact. If it's 15 yards for the pros, it might be, I don't know, we'll say 8 yards for us. And it'll be even less as you get further on and down. Like the slower you swing the ball, it may not even be noticeable. I think it's kind of split between everybody. There's a lot of people that are like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this?
Is or he's on live anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on live.
That doesn't matter. DeChambeau.
I haven't heard what everybody is saying about it. Guys, some of the guys like Rory and Tiger, they were for the first option, which was a rolled back ball for just the pros. But they're for this too. A lot of people think that it has ruined some of the like old school golf courses that they go to these tournaments and play and stuff because they just can't set them up for the pros anymore. Yeah. I tend to disagree a little bit in the sense that this change on its own makes no difference to that. You're talking about 15 yards tops. Not really going to move the needle for these guys. Now, it does help prevent, some of the gains that are going to happen, in the future and all that. But I think they're going to have to do more, I think. I think they should have done something for the pros and left the amateur game alone.
I know what they should do.
What's that?
Just legalize steroids for everyone and just...
They don't even have to legalize it. They just have to just quietly not test.
Yeah, let's leave the ball the same. Let's get on the green on a par 5.
Man, golf would be so different if that was the case where it was just like, we're just going to do a bunch of steroids and we're just going to hit the ball.
Like every pro sport.
Actually, you know what? I don't know.
Bring back baseball steroids. That was the best era. Come on, that was so enjoyable.
I don't know that steroids in golf would actually...
I know. I didn't know. Like, was he Tiger on?
There's a rumor going around that he is because
he was jacked, but
he's even more jacked now because his latest round of injuries, like he can't swing. The guys who really can generate a lot of power with the golf swing do so with their legs. Yeah, and he can't do that anymore. And so his upper body is massive. Mm-hmm. Because he's using that to swing. And like people are like looking at his head compared to like when he was younger.
The Barry Bonds effect.
So they call it the Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
So anyway, this golf ball rollback thing, it means that, and it's not even, here's the crazy thing, is it's not even going to happen until 2028 for the pros and 2030 for the amateurs. And so we still have quite a ways to go.
Oh yeah.
Why but like so people long? Are like up in arms. Well, they got to give the ball manufacturers time to figure this out. But, it's kind of crazy, right? Like, so the golf courses I play, like a 400-yard par 4, would be considered somewhat long of a par 4 for the courses around here. And if you hit a golf ball 275 yards off the tee, then you only have 125 yards in. And if that's considered a somewhat long hole, then you're really only looking at like driver and, I don't know, a pitching wedge or 9-iron in. And then at that point, it's like, why do you have, all the other clubs? Like golf was obviously meant to play a bit of a strategic game.
Yeah.
And I think that, obviously over the centuries,
it was made for overweight white men that smoked 4-packs.
Well, it used to be played with
the good old days, huh?
With wooden shafted golf clubs. So it's obviously a little different, but it's an interesting debate because
let's bring those back instead.
People still play with them.
Then we'll see who's really good.
Yeah, people still go out there. There's tournaments that do that. Not professional tournaments, but tournaments that people play them.
You ever hit one?
No, I haven't. I should though. It's funny on like Twitter and stuff, just the divisiveness that has been introduced because of this. Like, people have taken sides.
I just think it's interesting,
but I don't think anybody realizes how little it will impact their lives. Me personally, it will not change how much I enjoy golf.
No,
like until they tell me I'm not allowed to have a beer on the golf course, it's not going to impact me at all. Like I'm still going to go out and play golf. I'm still going to try and outdrive my friends. Like it's still going to be about shooting low scores, but it won't make any difference to me.
No, the average person, no.
It is like there are some points like secondary golf ball market is like a real business, right? People like get in ponds.
Oh yeah, I've
golf
seen
balls.
That. Yeah,
people and like they sell.
Surprised you haven't done that.
Oh man, and so that's a business that will potentially be impacted, right? Because when this happens, if you play in any type of tournament, or golf league or anything, you're going to have to use an updated ball. So that means that, kids who play golf, but, can't afford the latest and greatest of everything, they're going to have to buy golf balls, and that gets expensive. And so it'll be interesting to see, but it's also a long ways away.
Yeah.
No one really knows how the golf ball companies are going to approach this. And so these numbers are all sort of made up at this point,
Right.
Because they only have to make at that one swing speed, it has to stop at 317 yards. And the things they do with the golf balls, with the cores and the covers and the aerodynamics, I tend to think that they're going to figure out a way to, this will not be that impactful. Really what they should be doing is looking at the golf clubs and making the pros hit a little bit different clubs. They make the stuff less forgiving.
That's what I think the technology has been so different from the old days. It's that, but
you wouldn't believe the shitty swings I put on golf balls that still go relatively straight.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. I find this all interesting. I love looking through this stuff, and I love reading all this stuff and seeing the
bickering.
Yeah.
It's kind of
my favorite thing that's going to happen with all this is is when all of this goes into effect, it's all of the golf course fight videos that we're going to see.
Those are the best.
People getting in fights because they realize their playing partner just took a skin off of them, and it's because he's using a 2024 Titleist golf ball to juiced golf ball.
Have you ever witnessed one in person, a fight?
I have never witnessed one actually take place. I have been in a foursome where a couple of times it's almost happened because of people hitting into us.
Okay.
So one group did it twice. I don't know how they didn't realize they did it, but they also went and bought our group up. They sent the cart girl over with beer.
Well,
they made up for it.
Yeah.
But it's
those fights are so funny online.
I love it. My favorite one, I don't know if you've seen this one. My favorite one is in the clubhouse, and and I don't know why, but a lot of these fights are overseas. This one was in, I think it was Australia. It could have been like Fiji or New Zealand.
They pull out a Bowie knife.
No. They were in a clubhouse, and it must have been after like a club tourney or something, because everybody's in there drinking and talking or whatever. And some guy yells across the bar at the guy who won it and just starts calling him a cheat. And
in a cool accent.
Oh yeah, it was a great accent. Yeah. I'm not even going to attempt the accent, but starts yelling at this guy, calling him a cheat and all this stuff. And they get in this argument, and they get into a fist fight, and one of them gets thrown through a window.
Yes,
it was just it's great. It's great.
Imagine getting that mad. I don't know.
I can't imagine getting that mad on the golf course over anything other than like people like that continuously hit into you. Like if they hit into you a few different times, because you get hit with a golf ball on the fly.
Oh yeah, that would
head,
yeah.
Man, you'd hurt yourself. But other than that, there's not a lot of reasons to get upset on the golf course.
Or in general. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Would you get that mad if someone slept with your wife? Would you throw them through? What's the line? Like what would require throwing through a window?
Probably fucking with my kids.
Yeah, there's the line.
It's probably the line. I would imagine, like, you know, you mess with my like wife, she may handle it. She's small but mighty, so
she's skinny but she's strong.
Oh, yeah, the steroid stuff. This whole like the talk of Tiger on steroids is
that's funny. I could see it, I guess.
I haven't heard too much about it, but the guy has been through a lot of injuries. It wouldn't surprise me if he was on some sort of like HGH to help speed up the recovery.
Yeah, I think what sport would be the best? Everyone juiced up.
That'd
be football, man. Right? Or
I don't know, like football.
They might be on
it. The problem with football and steroids is that, you know, does everybody just get injured at that point?
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking about it's already bad enough. Now you're going to be getting hit by a freaking truck, man.
Yeah, certain positions I don't think it would help even, but
yeah. I don't know. I mean,
quarterback, I don't think it would help that.
No, probably not. Unless
probably
like
big old lineman, it would.
Unless like,
let's be real, they probably do cycle off.
Yeah, some of them for sure. I would imagine do.
DK Metcalf, that cannot be natural. That dude is
crazy. They were talking about him a couple weeks ago or last week. He hit like 20.
Yeah, against Dallas. Faster than Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, it's like, except he's got like 60 pounds on Tyreek Hill.
What a freak!
I don't know. Baseball has always kind of been that one where it's the reason it was so good in baseball was because there isn't that injury aspect. Like the pitchers were on it, throwing the ball, the hitters were on it, hitting the ball, and
it was so enjoyable.
And baseball, Major League Baseball, just let it happen because, you know, they were hurting after that. You know, the strike in '93. Mm-hmm. Like my dad,
they saved baseball
in '93. Like my dad said he was never going to watch baseball again. And then in '98, when the McGuire and the Sosa like exhibition went on, that's what brought him back. And so it did. I think it kind of had a big impact on baseball.
Yeah, because I was never a huge fan, but I always followed that. Like, who's winning the home run race now?
Yeah,
every day.
Man, what a time that was! That was like back before like the internet was super like what it is today, obviously. And you'd have to just like
before the social media.
You couldn't watch it's not like you could watch every Cubs and Cardinals game and stuff. So, and you didn't have this constant barrage of Twitter and whatnot telling you what happened. So you'd have to get up the next day and like get it on the paper.
Yeah.
You know, see if someone hit a home run. Different time, different world.
I liked it better, I think.
We should do like, you know, those rankings that
Big
Cat
Yeah,
does.
those are pretty good.
We need to do that for our friends.
Yeah.
Our group chat or our league, and we'll just put it out on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that pick stitch stuff. We could.
Is that what they use? I don't even know.
No, I'm sure they got a better program, but.
Oh man,
Are we talking about them as people or just their team?
We can do both. We can do the group chat, and we can talk about their contribution to the group chat. John will just be in a tier of his own, even though he doesn't ever contribute to the group chat.
Because everyone likes John. Nobody's ever said anything bad about John.
Jeff will just be like
most annoying
of his own. Yeah, just negative Nancy.
David Fraud Boy. Always Fraud Boy. Me, I traded all of my best players. Had a championship team.
Oh, man.